Wow. 1,000 bottles of baby oil? Whoa, this is a mess. Going to talk Diddy, going to talk Tua Tagovailoa, whether or not he needs to retire. Plus, today's National Cheeseburger Day. So, we're going to talk about that. All that on this episode of Breaking Through Glass Ceilings after this message. Before we get started with today's show, I just want to remind you that you can save 10% on your order with Symphony of Balloons, a luxury balloon company that also offers a 360 camera. Just simply mention you heard about them on Breaking Through Glass Ceilings. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this episode of Breaking Through Glass Ceilings with Uncomfortable Conversations. I'm your host, Brian H. Waters. This show brought to you by B. Waters Productions. Folks, I was sitting back watching Monday Night Raw, as I do on a Monday night, and then the news came through. Diddy arrested. And I was like, uh-oh, they got him. Now, y'all know I'm a broadcast nerd. I always talk about such iconic calls, and certain calls you may never have heard of, but some calls you may have. This is one of those calls 99% of my audience probably didn't hear. And that was when they threw a runner out, the Orioles threw a runner out, Joe Angel on a call. They got him. They got him. They got him. Because the game would have been like tied or something, or they may have taken the lead. That was the ringing sounds in my ear when I saw that P. Diddy was arrested. I thought it was very interesting. You know, you sit back and he was a guy who, I will admit, he was the first person that had like my first favorite rapper. And what I mean is because I didn't really start listening to music till 97. So by this time, Pac is gone. Biggie had just died. He wasn't even gone 6 months. And I was in school, and this is that transition where I'm starting to like listen to secular music, right? I grew up in a gospel music household, y'all know. And the, why can't I think of Can't Nobody Hold Me Down. That was the song. And I would always listen to that. My sister got the CD for Christmas, all about the Benjamins, More Money, More Problems. And I thought More Money, More Problems was his song. So I became a a Puff Daddy fan. Then, you know, I followed his career, and this is what I'm learning, like in rap, you know, somebody has that album that's like peak, and then the rest of them kind of, meh. The same with Mace, right? And Mace actually became my guy. And then I learned about all other stuff. But, you know, from making the band, from, you know, him doing the I'm Coming Home. I used that in a track when I made a video about me returning back to Baltimore after living in Connecticut for 2 years. But, man, my heart goes out to the victims, consensual and non-consensual. You hear about the things about the freak-offs. And when the FBI, or the feds, I should say, when the feds got him, you read the term freak-offs. And they said that no longer was, said that they got him and they had 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube. So who knows what he was doing? And I listened to a lot of takes on this. And, you know, the thing is, he was still doing it. And there are some people who just feel like they're above the law. In this situation, Sean Combs believed he was above the law. He was very vocal about he had never done nothing wrong to Cassie and all this stuff. We see the video, I think it was this past summer or this past spring. After we see the video, he makes this apology video. And I had heard, you know, you hear the things of, oh yeah, if Diddy got something on you, you know, if you're in his camp, he films you in an uncompromising position, so he always have you on blackmail. And that's why you never really heard people come out and say what they say about him. So now it's like, okay, now it all makes sense. And yeah, this is sad. It's quite frankly sad. And I hope that everybody involved goes down. And I hope this just be a lesson to people. Like, you can't control other human beings. using your power. And everybody likes to go back to January when Cat Williams was on Shannon Sharp's podcast. And everybody talks about 2024 as like the year of exposure, right? We saw a lot of stuff in 2020 where it felt like that was the worst year, right? It was like, I don't think anybody said, oh, man, this was a great year. You know, I remember during when we got to like September, October, people were saying they couldn't wait for the year to be over with. But that was like the theme, right? Kobe died and it disrupted everything. Then the pandemic and everything else. In 2024, it was like Cat Williams comes out. He talks about all these comedians. And then all of a sudden you start seeing exposure. And, you know, good riddance. The world doesn't need somebody like Sean Combs roaming the streets freely. He was denied bail. And I just feel for, you know, his young children, because it's sad that when a child can't grow up, you know, having easy access to their father, and you know what, even if he wasn't there present all the time, it's still sad. I still feel for them. You know, you heard about his daughter, you know, you heard about his son constantly, seeing him constantly, you know, speaking out against it, speaking good things or whatever. So this is all crazy, man. Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Combs, Brother Love, Diddy, whatever you want to call him, he's going to jail, and quite frankly, he deserves it. You know, I'm interested to know, how do y'all feel? You know, I know there's a lot of conversation about separating the art and the artist. It's kind of hard to, you know, because especially with music, a lot of times, and when we learned this from R. Kelly, a lot of the stuff is in the music. You know what I mean? A lot of the stuff is, a lot of their messages, their subliminal messages is right in the music. So is that possible? Is it possible to separate the artist and the art? You know? That's all I'm saying. But I'm moving on today's show, because I definitely, you know, like I said, we talk about Tua Tagovailoa, Miami Dolphins quarterback, suffered another concussion. Now, I'm so glad that we live in a world that we take concussions seriously. If you're a pro wrestling fan, you may have heard, if you haven't been under the bubble, about Swerve Strickland and Adam Page having a match in which a chair shot was used directly to the head. Now, there's wrestling chair shots that go where they hold their hands up, but they still take it, because the impact is still hitting. It's just you kind of protect yourself, right? But in this case, you took an unprotected chair shot. Then they said the chair is a gimmick where they're a little bit softer, but still, something swinging that fast to the head, to the cranium, is still a lot. So I'm glad we do take concussions more seriously. But one of the things that concerned me, I believe it was last season or the season before last, was when Tua was in a game and they didn't remove him fast enough. It's like, clearly nobody's home. You know, I've been at wrestling shows where I've seen wrestlers concussed, and then you go back and look at photos because it tells the story, right? And you can see where it's like, whoa, ain't nobody home. What's going on? So, but, you know, I'm not going to get on here and say whether Tua should retire. There's a lot of takes and people saying that. But I do say that there's life after football, and I pray that he can live a good life after football. I was watching The Game, the TV show, and it's the later seasons, the ones that people may not like as much. But there's an episode where Jason visits a former teammate, and there's a whole bunch of sticky notes. And this had to be filmed in between like 2008 and 2015, somewhere around that time. No, not 15. That would have been too late. But 2008, 2012. And this is around the time when Will Smith had came out with the movie. Again, we're taking concussions more seriously, so they're putting a message in it. And it used to be a thing. But, you know, the NFL made a lot of money off of concussions. Think about the old days of the DVDs. There was a lot of specials, biggest hits. You know, oh, I was just saying, oh yeah, man, he rocked them. You know, getting your bell rung. A lot of that stuff wasn't to the body or to the legs, upper body. You know, so they have a responsibility. Concussions suck. I just watched, you know, one of the Orioles prospects have to deal with being out for a few months because he had to get back into form because he had a concussion and he returned soon. And this is baseball, a sport that people think that the guys stand over there and play with their fingers a lot during the game. No, it's physical. So, you know, I wish Tua the best and hope and pray that he makes the best decision for him. And if he walks away, I don't think anybody would, you know, shame him. And if you do, shame on you. Now, want to give a shout out to Women's Sports Fashion on Instagram. If you aren't following that page, the link is in the bio, but women.sports.fashion. I saw that the city of Portland will be a home of a new WNBA franchise in 2025. Congratulations to them. You know, we know that the Bay Area is getting a team, so Golden State's going to have a sister team. Shout out to Portland for getting a team. Hopefully Baltimore get a team, but it's kind of hard when you got one in DC. But, you know, I've been playing NBA 2K25. And you may know they have the WNBA on there. And man, I'm having fun. I've been playing more with the WNBA than I have with the NBA. I just did a franchise. I'm in the championship. Now I made some trades. I stacked the team. I got the New York Liberty. Let's try to see if Ellie was on there. She's not on the game. But I have Skylar Diggins-Smith, my favorite point guard. I got Angel Reese and my favorite front court person. So her paired with Sabrina and Stewie, man. And then look, the Storm offered me Gabby Williams. Y'all know the French Olympian. So yeah, I'm having fun with the game. Just the way that it's a smooth game, I have to say. I love the way the aesthetics of the WNBA on that game. The women look just like themselves. It's not just generic. You know, they have their mannerisms, they have their likeness. They put a lot of effort, the same effort that they put in for the men, they put in for the women. So I'm very happy to see that. There's a couple things on the franchise mode that I'm looking for that I haven't quite got to yet. So I have to continue it. But like I said, I'm in the championship, baby. But shout out to NBA 2K25 for doing this. I know the WNBA has been on there for a few years. At first, it was just, you just play with the teams. And I believe it was NBA Live as I look through my collection. I want to say it was either 15 or 16, maybe it was 18, that introduced the WNBA, but you could just play the games. You couldn't have a franchise mode and stuff. But on here, you can have the WNBA franchise. You can have a mod player with a woman. So shout out to them for that. I want to invite you to check out my mother's book, The Tears Behind My Smile. This book is a tribute to my uncle, but it's about not only celebrating his life, but it's also a reminder of how family and true love can endure even in the face of life's greatest challenges. So make sure you check out this book. You can find it on Amazon. The link is in the bio. The Tears Behind My Smile by Robin Waters.
It's me, Queen PR, one half of those wrestling girls, and welcome back to another episode of Where Wrestling Meets Pop Culture. And this is the show where you find out who the current Up Down champion is. This is not the show where we speculate when Mercedes is returning to WWE. This is not the place for rumors and innuendo. This is the show where you find out where all your wrestlers are up to outside of the ring. One of my favorite couples, Bianca Belair and Montez Ford. We knew that Bianca and Montez were filming a reality show with Hulu. I just have to have a moment for the It family.
And we're back. So, how do you feel about vintage logos? There's some logos I like better than others. If you know me, I'm an Orioles fan. Obviously, you should know that by now. But I tend to love the 90s era, the orange outline with the black lettering. With the Lakers, I tend to side more with the Kobe jerseys, the Kobe and Shaq jerseys than the current jerseys. But the Sacramento Kings and the Washington Capitals both announced that they will be bringing back vintage jerseys. The Kings said that they will wear the mid-2000s uniforms. Now, this is the Kings team that everybody said should have beat the Lakers, but they didn't. A team that, quite frankly, dropped the ball because I just knew when the Lakers beat them in Game 7, I just knew that, guess what? The following year, it's going to be the Lakers and Kings again. Because everybody knew whoever won that was winning the championship. Sorry, New Jersey Nets, but everybody knew that. But I thought the Lakers was going to win. I mean, they was going to run it back. I thought, but then, injuries happen and players get older, but they dropped the ball. And that's what I'm hoping my Orioles don't do. I'm just being honest. But they're going to bring those back. The Capitals going to bring back the Screaming Eagle. And those colors were very vintage, very similar to the Wizards colors at the time, that blue and gold, brown tan like. So that's very interesting. So shout out to them. But speaking of WNBA and speaking of the Kings, I'm not sure if he's still a majority owner, but Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq announced, Shaq went viral again. This time, some lady had a picture and she took the picture with the camera cut off and she said, "Can you guess whose hands and feet these are?" And everybody guessed Shaq. And so then she went online to say that she was his girlfriend. Shaq denied it. He denied he was in the photo, but then he showed everybody who he's taking a picture with that. It's always funny. Shaq gon' Shaq, man. That's all I can say. Shaq gon' Shaq. I don't know if this is a joke. I hope it is. I hope that him and the lady are in on a joke, because it would really suck if they wasn't, and then you have a whole nother problem. Ladies and gentlemen, are you in the gym every week? Are you looking to kind of keep yourself cool while you work up a nasty sweat? Well, I got the best thing for you. Cooling bands, bandanas, cooling towels, and so much more. Go to Vertical Athletics, get your favorite team in MLS or MLB, or guess what? Now they have a custom option so you can upload your own logo, and you can save 10% at checkout when you enter the code Brian H. Waters. Go to verticalathletics.com, use the code Brian H. Waters to save 10% on some of your best cooling gear. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before I get out of here, we got to talk fast food burgers, right? It's National Cheeseburger Day. So I'm going to give you my top 5 fast food cheeseburgers. And when I say fast food, I mean somewhere, you out and about, you go in, you get a burger, you go back about your business. So number 5, I'm going with the Bacon King from Burger King. It's one of my favorite burgers. When I go there, flame broiled, that's what they always sell you on. It's always good to me, so I gotta include that. Number 4, it's the Baconator, baby. Oh man, there's nothing like a good Baconator from Wendy's. It's when you want a cheat day, you go to Wendy's, get you a Baconator. I like bacon on my burgers, as you could tell. And I think fast food restaurants do it very well. Number 3, I got to go with the Big Buford burger over at Checkers. Man, Checkers always do me right. It's always they always have great burgers. Usually before inflation and all that stuff, they were like 2 for $5. So I always knew I could good burger from Checkers. And then number 2, the burger that never does me wrong. I'm going to McDonald's Big Mac. And with, the brother, the one and only, quarter pounder with cheese. But McDonald's is always my go-to, And the number 1 burger for me is Five Guys. Five Guys has the best. You go to Five Guys, you're going to get a good burger because you can customize it exactly how you want. I like to go all the way with it. Sometimes I don't want tomatoes on my burger, but Five Guys. So, ladies and gentlemen, good way to close off such a crazy pod. Let me tell y'all, I didn't realize the SD card ran out, and I'm sitting there recording. I'm like, I go back, upload the footage. I'm like, yo, where's the rest of it? The SD card ran out. So that always sucks. So this is a retake on the second half. But ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for this week's episode of Breaking Through Glass Ceilings. Remember, subscribe to all the videos. Check out all the links in the bio. And remember, do not let anyone place a ceiling above your success. So long, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to support this podcast by wearing a t-shirt, whether it's the one that says Breaking Through Glass Ceilings or the one that says No Ceilings Above Success, simply go to foryourwear.com. Also, you can support some of your other favorite podcast and content creators, including Those Wrestling Girls, Seahawk, and the Wrestling Club. And you can support some of your favorite independent wrestlers, including Jay Bougie, Trisha Dora, Chaz the Dawn. Shoot, all the Pure Ignorance is on there. So go on foryourwear.com, go under personalities, you'll find Brian H. Waters, and buy a t-shirt. And remember, I'll give you a shout out on the show.